My name is Ethan Miller, I'm 22, and I just graduated from a top-tier university. I should have been eagerly starting my career, but a sudden car accident left me laid up in the hospital for 3 months. When I woke up, the doctor told me I had lost 3 years of my memory. Do you remember your name? The doctor asked. Ethan Miller, I answered mechanically. And do you remember your wife? Wife? I froze. Since when did I have a wife? The doctor pointed to a chair by my bed where a sweet-faced girl was asleep, still clutching my medical chart in her hand. Her name is Chloe, and she's your wife. She has been here every day for the past 3 months, taking care of you. Chloe? The name was completely foreign to me, but looking at her exhausted face as she slept, I felt an unexpected sting in my nose. Ethan, you're awake. The girl, startled awake by our conversation, shot her head up, her eyes brimming with tears of joyful surprise. She rushed over to hug me, and I instinctively flinched back. I'm sorry, I don't remember you. Chloe's arms froze in midair, the smile on her face instantly vanishing. It's okay, the doctor said this is normal. She forced a smile. I'm Chloe, your wife. We met in college. I studied the girl in front of me. She was very ordinary, even plain. Her hair was in a simple ponytail, she wore a faded t-shirt, and her hands had a few small cuts. Is this really my wife? With my standards, how could I have? What are you thinking? Chloe asked cautiously. Nothing, I said, looking away. Thank you for taking care of me. The light in Chloe's eyes dimmed, but she still nodded. Of course. The doctor watched our exchange from the sidelines and frowned. Mr. Miller, even though you have amnesia, matters of the heart. Doctor, I'd like to rest. I cut him off. The doctor shook his head helplessly and left the room. Chloe and I were left alone in the room. The atmosphere was a little awkward. Well, I'll go get you some soup, Chloe said, standing up. You just woke up, so you should eat something light. I nodded. After she left, I started looking through the items on the nightstand. There were several photos of me and Chloe together. In the pictures, I was smiling brightly, while Chloe always had her head lowered shyly. It looked like we were very close. But why didn't I remember any of it? It wasn't just Chloe. I couldn't remember anything about the last 3 years. My phone was filled with iMessages from Chloe, from sweet nothings to concerned greetings, a dense log of our relationship. The most recent one was from yesterday. Ethan, your finger moved today. The doctor said it's a good sign. I bought you your favorite wonton soup, so you can have it when you wake up. Reading those words, I felt a complex mix of emotions. This girl had done so much for me, yet I felt nothing for her. I even felt a strange sense of resistance. I'm back. Chloe came in carrying a bowl of simple broth. The doctor said you can only have liquids for now. She sat carefully on the edge of the bed. Let me feed you. I can do it myself. I reached for the bowl, but found my hand was too weak to even hold it steady. Chloe quickly steadied my hand. Here, let me. She spooned up some of the broth, blew on it gently, and brought it to my lips. Open up. Watching her focused expression, I opened my mouth as if on autopilot. The broth was warm and mild. Is it okay? Chloe asked nervously. Yeah. By the time she'd finished feeding me the bowl of broth, a thin layer of sweat had formed on her forehead. You're tired. You should go home and rest, I said. I'm not tired, Chloe said, shaking her head. I want to stay with you. I'd like to be alone for a while. Chloe paused for a moment, then nodded. Okay, I'll come back tomorrow then. She gathered her things, and as she reached the door, she glanced back at me. Ethan, whether you remember me or not, I'll always be waiting for you. The door closed, and I let out a long sigh. This amnesia left me feeling more lost than I'd ever been. Who was I? What had really happened between me and Chloe? And why did I feel this strange resistance toward her? Late that night, I lay in my hospital bed, tossing and turning. A hazy figure flashed through my mind. It was a girl, but it wasn't Chloe. She was crying, pleading with me for something. But the image was too blurry. I couldn't make out her face. Who was this girl? And what did she have to do with me? Chloe arrived early the next morning. She carried a thermos filled with steaming hot wonton soup. It's your favorite, she said, opening the container. The aroma instantly filled the air. It smelled good, but I couldn't say I loved it. Thank you. You don't have to thank me. It's what I'm here for, Chloe said with a smile. When you get out of the hospital, I'll make it for you every day. I didn't answer, just quietly ate my soup. By the way, your friends know you're awake, and they all want to visit, Chloe said tentatively. Do you feel up to seeing them? Friends? I didn't even remember my own wife, let alone my friends. Not right now. Okay, I understand, Chloe nodded. We can wait until you're ready. Just then, the door to my room opened. A middle-aged man in a suit walked in, looking very stern. Dad, Chloe exclaimed, standing up. This was Chloe's father? The man glanced at me, his expression sour. Chloe, come out here a minute. I need to talk to you. Chloe hesitated, glancing at me. Go ahead and talk. It's not like I'm going anywhere, I said with a wry smile. Chloe then followed her father out of the room. Even through the closed door, I could hear their conversation. Chloe, just look at you. The man's voice was filled with anger. Look what you've done to yourself for that man. Dad, Ethan has amnesia. He needs me. Take care of him? Look at your hands. How many part-time jobs have you been working just to raise money for his medical bills? I looked down at my hospital gown, and my heart sank. Medical bills? Chloe, listen to me. Leave him. You two were never right for each other. Dad, I'm not leaving Ethan. I love him. Love? Does he love you? Did you see the way he looked at you? It was like he was looking at a stranger. Those words stabbed me like a knife. It was true. I had been looking at her like a stranger. He just lost his memory. He'll be fine once he gets it back, Chloe said. Her voice choked with emotion. Chloe, be realistic. Even if he hadn't lost his memory, do you really think he loves you? The man's words made me frown. What did he mean by that? Dad, don't say that. 3 years ago, he suddenly married you. Didn't you think that was strange? A guy like him could have had any girl he wanted. Why did he choose you? That was a question I wanted the answer to as well. And have you forgotten the look on his face on your wedding day? That wasn't the face of a man marrying the woman he loves. I could hear Chloe start to cry. Dad, please, stop. Chloe, I'm not trying to hurt you. I just don't want to see you get used. Used? There was a secret like that between me and Chloe. Ethan isn't like that. Not like that. Then tell me, how did you two meet? Chloe's voice trailed off. You can't say, can you? Because you weren't college classmates at all. What? I shot up in bed. Hadn't Chloe just told me we met in college? You met at the hospital. 3 years ago, Ethan Miller tried to kill himself over a woman. He was brought to the ER, and you were the one who took care of him on the night shift. Suicide? Over a woman? My head suddenly started to ache intensely. Vague images began to flash in my mind. A hospital corridor, a white room, a girl's crying. What was that woman's name? Oh right, Jessica. Jessica. The name struck my brain like a bolt of lightning. I remembered. Jessica, my first love, the woman I loved most in the world. We'd been together since high school, all the way through college. I thought we would be together forever. I was even ready to propose. But then she suddenly broke up with me. She said we weren't compatible, that we had to think about our futures. But I knew the real reason. Her family had set her up with a better man, someone from a wealthy family with a promising future. And I was just a poor kid from an average family. The day we broke up, I begged her for another chance. I knelt in front of her like an idiot, crying, telling her I could change, that I could give her a better life. But she just looked at me coldly and said, Ethan, some things can't be earned just by trying hard. We're over. Then she turned and walked away without a second glance. That night, I drank heavily and tried to kill myself. Luckily, someone found me in time and got me to the hospital. During my time in the hospital, it was Chloe who took care of me. She would quietly do things for me, never asking why I had tried to end my life. I was completely despondent back then, with no interest in anything. That included the kind, gentle nurse taking care of me. But Chloe was different. She seemed to genuinely like me. After I was discharged, she would still message me occasionally to ask how I was doing. I was in a bad place during that time, and work wasn't going well either. As it happened, Chloe's father owned a company and needed people. Chloe recommended me for a position. My job stabilized, and my life slowly got back on track. But I was still hung up on Jessica. I saw how good Chloe was to me, but I just couldn't make myself love her. A year later, Chloe confessed her feelings for me. I turned her down. I told her I was still in love with someone else and didn't want to lead her on. But Chloe said she didn't mind, that she was willing to wait for me to move on. Another year went by, and Chloe's father came to see me. He told me that Chloe had turned down every guy her family had tried to set her up with, all because of me. Her family was getting worried and hoped I would give her a chance. I'll admit, I was moved. I felt guilty that a great girl like Chloe was wasting her youth on me. On top of that, I had recently heard that Jessica had gotten married, which made me lose all hope. So, I figured, why not try to accept Chloe? Maybe, over time, I could actually learn to love her. So I agreed to marry her. But even on our wedding day, I didn't feel a single ounce of excitement or happiness. Standing at the altar, watching Chloe walk towards me in her white dress, all I felt was guilt. I knew it wasn't fair to her, but I felt like I had no other choice. Our married life was uneventful. Chloe was very good to me, taking care of my every need. I tried my best to play the part of a good husband, but there was always something missing between us. Passion, love, something. I couldn't put my finger on it. Until the car accident 3 months ago. The memories flooded back like a tidal wave, and my headache grew more intense. Outside the door, Chloe and her father were still arguing. Chloe, how long are you going to keep lying to yourself? He doesn't love you. I don't care. As long as he needs me, that's enough. You're wasting your life. Dad, it's my choice. Choice? What kind of choice is that? Look at yourself. You quit your job, spent all your savings, and you can't even take care of yourself? All for him. I closed my eyes. I remembered everything Chloe had done for me. For the 3 years we'd been married, she had taken incredible care of me. She made me breakfast every morning and had a hot bath ready for me at night. When I worked late, she would always wait up for me. When I was in a bad mood, she would just sit with me quietly, never asking why. She was like a gentle harbor, quietly accepting all of me. And I had never once tried to truly love her. I took her kindness for granted and treated her sacrifices as if they were her duty. Sometimes, I even resented her for being so ordinary. Thinking about it now, I was flooded with an immense sense of guilt. The arguing outside stopped, and Chloe pushed the door open. Her eyes were red. It was clear she had been crying. But when she saw me, she still managed to force a smile. Sorry, did we wake you? Seeing her force that smile made my heart ache even more. Chloe, what is it? Are you not feeling well? She asked, walking over nervously. I'll get the doctor. No, I said, taking her hand. I remember. Chloe's entire body went rigid. What do you remember? I remember how we met. And I remember why we got married. The color drained from Chloe's face. Ethan, why did you lie to me? I asked, looking into her eyes. Why did you say we met in college? Chloe's tears finally started to fall. I was afraid you'd remember all the bad things. What bad things? The memories about Jessica. Hearing her name felt like a punch to the gut. You knew all of it. I know you loved her. I know you only married me out of guilt. Chloe sobbed. But I don't care. I really don't. Chloe, Ethan, I know I'm not good enough for you. I know I'm not pretty enough or smart enough, but I really, truly love you. Watching her cry, I suddenly felt like a complete bastard. For the last 3 years, I had seen myself as the victim, forced to marry a woman I didn't love. But the real victim was Chloe. She knew I didn't love her, but she chose to endure it all in silence. She gave me the best years of her life, and I never appreciated any of it. Chloe, I'm so sorry. Don't apologize, Chloe said, shaking her head. I don't need your apology. I just need you to be okay. But I don't deserve this from you. Whether it's worth it is for me to decide, Chloe said, wiping her tears with the back of her hand. Ethan, I never expected you to love me. I just wanted to be by your side, to take care of you and protect you, even if I loved someone else, even if you loved someone else. In that moment, I suddenly understood what real love was. Love isn't about possessing someone or taking from them. It's about giving and wanting the best for them. Chloe's love was so pure it made me ashamed of myself. Chloe, don't say anything else, Chloe said, drying her tears and putting on her usual gentle smile. You just got your memory back. You need to rest. I'll go get you some fruit. She turned to leave, but I quickly stopped her. Chloe, wait. What's wrong? I looked into her eyes and saw hope, anxiety, and a deep, abiding love. Thank you. Chloe paused, and then she smiled. It was the most beautiful smile I had ever seen. You're silly. We're married. You don't have to thank me. After she left, I lay in bed, replaying our conversation in my mind. Chloe's words were like a key that had unlocked a door deep inside me. I realized I had been so wrong about her. She never asked me to love her. She simply wanted the chance to love me. And I had always treated her love as a burden. I really was a bastard. My phone buzzed. It was an iMessage. I picked it up, and the sender's name sent a jolt through me. Jessica, I heard about your accident. Are you okay? I'd like to see you if you have time. The message was like a bomb dropped into the calm waters of my mind, sending ripples everywhere. Jessica wanted to see me? Why? Wasn't she already married? My hand trembled slightly. I didn't know if I should reply. Just then, Chloe walked back into the room. She was carrying a bag of fruit, that same gentle smile on her face. I bought some of your favorite apples. Looking at her smile, I quietly deleted the message. Some people and some things are in the past, and that's where they should stay. What I needed to do now was cherish the person right in front of me. Over the next few days, I started to really pay attention to Chloe. She got up at 6 every morning to make my breakfast. When she made oatmeal, she would stand in the kitchen, stirring constantly, afraid it would burn. Sometimes I'd wake up early and hear her bustling around in the kitchen. Those small sounds were surprisingly comforting. She brought different food to the hospital every day. Sometimes it was oatmeal, sometimes soup, sometimes a side dish she'd made herself. I asked her why she never brought the same thing twice, and she smiled. So you won't get bored. But I knew it was because she wanted me to get better faster. She was always quiet when she sat with me in the room. She would read, knit, or take care of some things for work. But the moment I needed anything, she would drop what she was doing to help me. One night, I suddenly spiked a fever. She was so nervous she didn't know what to do, trying to cool me down with a damp cloth while tearfully calling the doctor. Watching her rush around, I felt a wave of emotion I had never felt before. This girl had truly given so much for me. Another time, I happened to see her phone. The screen showed her bank balance, $32.80. I asked her why she had so little money, and she just smiled and said, "It's enough to get by." But I knew she had spent all of her savings paying my medical bills. She had even borrowed money from friends. I couldn't sleep that night. Thinking about everything Chloe had done for me, for the first time, I felt a profound sense of both guilt and gratitude. From that day on, I started to see our relationship differently. Chloe wasn't my burden. She was my wife. A wife who truly loved me and was willing to do anything for me. And what reason did I have not to cherish her? The next day, when Chloe came to take care of me as usual, I reached out and took her hand. "Chloe, sit down. I want to talk to you." Chloe looked a little nervous. "What is it? Are you feeling sick?" "No," I said, looking into her eyes. "I want to apologize." "Are you apologizing again?" "I told you you don't have to." "Let me finish," I said, holding her hand tighter. "I want to apologize for being so cold for the past 3 years, for being selfish, and for not appreciating you." Chloe's eyes immediately reddened. "Chloe, I know I hurt you, and I know I haven't been a good husband, but I want to change. I want to start over. Ethan, I can't promise I'll fall in love with you overnight, but I can promise that starting today, I will try my best to treat you right and to cherish you." Tears streamed down Chloe's face. "Are you sure you want to?" "I do," I said firmly. "I want to start over with you." Chloe nodded through her tears. "I want that too." From that day on, my relationship with Chloe began to change in subtle ways. I started making an effort to talk to her, asking about her day and how she was feeling. I discovered that Chloe was actually a very interesting person. She loved to read, especially mystery novels. She would get so wrapped up in the plot that she couldn't sleep. She loved doing crafts, like knitting and cross-stitching. She said it helped calm her mind. She also had a little dream of opening her own coffee shop one day. "Why a coffee shop?" I asked. "Because coffee shops are always full of warm stories," she said. "I want to help create warm memories for people." Listening to her, I suddenly thought she was a truly wonderful person. She was kind, gentle, and had her own dreams and ambitions. How had I never noticed any of this before? A week later, I was discharged. Chloe insisted I recover at home, saying the hospital was too depressing. "Besides," she added, "my home cooking will be better for you." The moment I stepped back into our apartment, it felt like I was seeing it for the first time. This was the home Chloe and I had shared for 3 years. Our wedding photo was on the living room wall, her favorite spices were in the kitchen, and a sweater she had knitted was in the bedroom. Traces of her were in every corner. How had I never noticed how warm and full of life this place was? That evening, Chloe made a huge dinner for me. "I made your favorite pot roast, and the sweet and sour pork loin, and—" "Chloe," I interrupted. "What is it? You don't have to make so much food in the future. We can't eat all this. It's fine. We can have the leftovers tomorrow." "That's not what I meant," I said, getting up and walking over to her. "I was thinking, maybe we could cook together from now on." Chloe froze. "You want to cook with me?" "Yes," I nodded. "I want to be a part of our life, not just an observer." Chloe's eyes lit up with joy. "Okay, I'll teach you." And just like that, I started to become a part of our home. Learning to cook was fun. Chloe patiently taught me every step, starting with the basics, like how to chop vegetables. "Ethan, curl your fingertips under when you chop, so you don't cut yourself. You have to control the heat, or the meat will burn. Add the salt a little at a time, and taste as you go." I was clumsy and often messed up the simplest things. Once, I mixed up the salt and sugar, making an entire dish inedibly salty. Chloe took a bite, frowned, and said, "Well, it's very flavorful." Then we both burst out laughing. It was a wonderful feeling, like we were a real couple. In the evenings, we started watching TV together. Chloe loved watching soap operas. I wasn't interested at first, but seeing how invested she got, I slowly got drawn into the stories. The main character is so clueless. It's so obvious the guy likes her. How can she not see it? Chloe would say, hugging a pillow. "Maybe she's afraid to believe it," I said. Sometimes when happiness comes on too suddenly, you can't help but question if it's real. Chloe turned to look at me, a complicated expression in her eyes. "Is that how you feel?" I nodded. "Yes, I feel like my life right now is a little unreal." "Why?" "Because it's too good," I said, looking into her eyes. "I'm afraid it's all just a dream." Chloe smiled, a smile mixed with happiness and a hint of heartache. "If it is a dream, then let's just dream it together." That night, for the first time, we truly held each other. Not out of duty or guilt, but out of a genuine desire to be close. Chloe's body was warm and soft. Holding her, I suddenly felt that this was what home felt like. Safe, warm, and full of love. During my recovery at home, my relationship with Chloe grew by leaps and bounds. We started to live like a real married couple. We'd wake up together, make breakfast together, and watch the morning news. Chloe would tell me about interesting stories she'd seen, and I'd share my thoughts on current events. I discovered she was actually very sharp, with her own unique take on many things. You know, I always thought you were quiet and introverted, I said. That's because you never wanted to listen, Chloe said with a laugh. I was afraid I would annoy you if I talked too much. Hearing that, I felt another pang of guilt. I realized that for 3 years, she had been carefully walking on eggshells around me, suppressing her own personality. You don't have to do that anymore, I said, taking her hand. I want to hear what you have to say. I want to get to know the real you. The real me might be a disappointment, Chloe said playfully. I actually talk a lot, and I can be a little moody. I'd like to see that. And sure enough, as our relationship improved, Chloe gradually started to show her true self. She really was talkative and loved sharing every little detail of her day with me. Like how the old woman downstairs got a cute new kitten, or that a new bakery opened up in the neighborhood, or a funny video she saw online. Her little moods were cute, too. Once I mentioned her soup was a little bland, and she pouted. Well, you can make it yourself next time. Then she turned and marched into the bedroom. I hurried after her to make up. I'm sorry, I was wrong. Your soup is the best soup in the world. Humph. So now you admit you were wrong, she said with her back to me, but I could hear the laughter in her voice. I was wrong. I begged my wife's forgiveness. She turned around, her eyes full of amusement. Seeing as you're so sincere, I suppose I can forgive you. This kind of playful banter made me feel happier and more at ease than I ever had before. I never knew married life could be this much fun. A month later, I went back to work. Chloe wanted to take more time off to look after me, but I told her not to. I'm fully recovered, and you should get back to your job. Besides, we need the money. It was true. Chloe had used up nearly all her savings to pay for my treatment. Our finances were in a tight spot. Well, maybe I can find a part-time job for some extra income, Chloe suggested. No, just focus on your job, I said. I'll figure out a way to make more money. Back at the office, my colleagues were all concerned about my health. Hey Miller, I heard you had amnesia. How are you doing now? Better. I've remembered most of it. That's good to hear. By the way, how's your wife? We haven't seen her around the office. She was taking care of me. She'll be back next week. Your wife is a real keeper. She put her job on hold just to take care of you. Yeah, you really lucked out marrying a woman like that. Listening to my colleagues, I had mixed feelings. It was true, Chloe was a good woman, and I was finally starting to understand that. On my way home from work, I passed a flower shop. Seeing the beautiful roses in the window, I suddenly had the urge to buy a bouquet for Chloe. Can I help you, sir? The florist asked. Yes, I'd like a bouquet of roses. How many stems? Make it a dozen. A dozen roses, a classic. Is this for your girlfriend? It's for my wife. When I got home, Chloe was already busy in the kitchen. Hearing the door, she peeked out. You're home. Go wash up for dinner. I made your favorite. Her words trailed off when she saw the roses in my hand. Are those? They're for you, I said, feeling a little shy. It's the first time I've really bought you flowers. I hope you like them. Chloe's eyes immediately welled up. She took the bouquet, holding it carefully in her arms. I love them. I love them so much. Really, she nodded. They're the most beautiful flowers I've ever received. I knew they weren't the first flowers I had ever given her. I had bought her flowers before we were married. But back then, it was out of a sense of obligation. This time, it was real. She could feel the difference. During dinner, Chloe put the roses in a vase in the center of the table. This way, we can look at them while we eat, she said happily. Seeing her happy smile warmed my heart. I realized how simple it was to make someone happy. A bouquet of flowers, a kind word, a hug. These small, insignificant things brought her so much joy. Why had I never been willing to do them before? After dinner, we did the dishes together. Chloe washed and I dried. Ethan, she said suddenly. Yeah, thank you for being willing to start over. I should be thanking you, I said. Thank you for not giving up on me, and for being so patient and understanding. Can we stop saying thank you? Chloe said, turning to face me. We're a couple. We're family. Family doesn't have to say thank you. I nodded, put down the dish towel, and gently pulled her into a hug. In that moment, I truly felt the warmth of being home. As our life got back on track, I discovered there were many sides to Chloe I'd never seen. For example, she was great with money. Even though we'd spent so much on my medical bills, she had our household budget planned out perfectly. This is our income for the month. These are our expenses, and this is what we can put into savings. She would show me her little notebook where she seriously analyzed our financial situation. If we can keep saving this much every month, we can make a down payment on a house in 3 years. Seeing the hopeful look in her eyes warmed my heart. Buying a house. It was her dream, and it should be our shared goal. Okay, let's do it together. She was also a devoted daughter. She visited her parents every weekend, always bringing them some of their favorite foods. My parents are getting older, and they're not as healthy as they used to be. I want to spend more time with them. I had rarely gone with her to her parents' house before, always making up excuses. Thinking back on it, I realized how much that must have hurt her. I'll go with you next time, I said. Really? Chloe looked at me, surprised and pleased. Really? That weekend, we went to her parents' house together. Chloe's parents were understandably conflicted about me. On one hand, they worried their daughter was getting hurt, but on the other, they hoped we could make things work. Ethan, Chloe has always been a good girl. You have to treat her right, her mother said, taking my hand. I will, Mrs. Thompson. I heard about the amnesia. How are you feeling? I've recovered. Thank you for asking. During dinner, Chloe's father suddenly said, Ethan, I know you might hold a grudge against me. Dad, Chloe started to intervene. Let me finish, he said, holding up a hand. 3 years ago, it's true I asked you to marry her for Chloe's sake, but I never meant to force you. I just hoped you would give her a chance. I put down my fork and looked at him seriously. Mr. Thompson, I understand your intentions were good. For the past 3 years, I'm the one who hasn't been good enough, and I'm sorry for making you and your wife worry. I'm relieved to hear you say that, he said, his eyes glistening. Chloe is a good kid. She deserves to be loved properly. I know, and I will. As we were leaving that day, Chloe's mother secretly slipped an envelope of cash into my hand. This is for you too. Save it for a house. I tried to refuse, but Chloe stopped me. It's a gift from my mom. Just take it. Chloe was happy on the drive home. My parents seemed really happy today. They really like you. You think so? Of course. My dad said you seem different now, more alive. Alive? Yeah. Before, you always seemed so down, like you had the weight of the world on your shoulders. But you're different now. You smile, you start conversations, you ask about other people. Her words made me think. It was true. I had changed. The amnesia had forced me to re-examine my life and to see Chloe for who she really was. It also made me understand what was truly important. It wasn't some hazy memory of a first love or some idea of a perfect romance. It was the girl right in front of me who truly loved me and the warm home we had built together. That night, I made a decision. I was going to propose to Chloe all over again. Not out of guilt or obligation, but out of love. I wanted to show her that she deserved a real, heartfelt proposal. Over the next few days, I started secretly planning the proposal. I went to a jewelry store to pick out a ring, made a reservation at a restaurant, and called a florist to order a special bouquet. Sir, what kind of bouquet would you like? Roses. The best and freshest you have. How many? 99. 99. For I will love you forever. Very romantic, sir. Yes, I was going to give Chloe the most romantic proposal I could. Even though we were already married, I felt she deserved a perfect proposal. I planned the proposal for our 3rd wedding anniversary. It was a Saturday, and I told Chloe I was taking her somewhere special. Where are we going? She asked curiously. You'll see when we get there. I took her to the restaurant on the top floor of the tallest building in the city. The entire city skyline spread out below us, a glittering panorama that looked like something out of a fairy tale. Wow, it's beautiful, Chloe said, pressing against the floor-to-ceiling window. Ethan, how did you find this place? I found it online, I said with a smile. I wanted to show it to you. We sat at a table by the window and ordered an elegant meal. Chloe seemed a little nervous. She wasn't used to such fancy places. Isn't this place expensive? She whispered. Don't worry about it. Today is a special day. What's the special occasion? It's our 3rd wedding anniversary. Chloe paused, and a flicker of emotion crossed her face. You remembered? Of course, I said, taking her hand. It's one of the most important days of our lives. Halfway through dinner, I excused myself to use the restroom, but I was really going to confirm the final arrangements with the staff. When I returned to our table, the lights in the entire restaurant suddenly dimmed. Chloe's favorite song began to play over the speakers. She looked at me, confused. What's happening? I didn't answer. Instead, I stood up and got down on one knee in front of her. I pulled out the ring I had bought. Chloe, when we got married 3 years ago, I never gave you a proper proposal. Tonight, I want to make up for that. Chloe's eyes went wide, and she covered her mouth with her hands. For the past 3 years, your kindness and your gentle heart have taught me what love really is. You made me realize that true happiness isn't somewhere far away. It's right here. My voice was shaking, but I tried to speak every word clearly. Chloe, I love you. Not out of guilt, and not out of habit, but because I truly love you. Will you marry me? Chloe was crying too hard to speak, but she nodded her head frantically. Yes, I will. I slipped the ring on her finger, then stood up and pulled her into my arms. The entire restaurant erupted in applause. Congratulations. That was so moving. We wish you all the best. Chloe cried even harder, but I knew they were happy tears. Thank you, Ethan, she whispered in my ear. Thank you for giving me a second chance. No, I should be thanking you for waiting for me. We stayed at the restaurant late into the night. We watched the city lights and talked about our past and our future. Ethan, you know, when you were proposing, I thought I was dreaming, Chloe said, looking at the ring on her finger. Why? Because this is something I've dreamed about 1,000,000 times. Ever since I was a little girl, I've imagined the man I love kneeling down to propose to me. Well, now your dream has come true. Yes, and it's even better than I imagined. She turned to look at me, her eyes filled with love. Ethan, there's something I want to tell you. What is it? The truth is, I've had a crush on you since the first moment I saw you. Back at the hospital? Chloe nodded. You were so weak and in so much pain, but I thought you were the most handsome man I had ever seen. And I could tell from your eyes that you were a kind person. Kind. I gave a bitter laugh. I was trying to kill myself. How was that kind? That's exactly why I thought you were kind, Chloe said seriously. Anyone who could feel that much pain over love had to be a person with a good heart. Back then, I really hated myself. I know. That's why I wanted to help you. I wanted to see you be happy again. So you just stuck by me? Yes. I wanted to heal your pain with my love. Hearing her words, I was deeply moved. I realized that from the very beginning, her love for me had been about trying to heal me. She asked for nothing in return and didn't care what it cost her. She just wanted me to be happy. How could anyone not be moved by a love like that? Chloe, I was such a bastard. No, you weren't a bastard. You were just hurt, Chloe said gently. And hurt people need time to heal. I get that, but I hurt you. That's all in the past, she said, taking my hand. We're starting over now. Let's not think about the past anymore, okay? I nodded and pulled her into my arms. Okay, a fresh start. After the second proposal, our bond grew even stronger. I started to understand the comfortable rhythm of a long-married couple. I'd wake up in the morning, and before I could say a word, Chloe would know what I wanted for breakfast. When I came home from work, I could tell how her day went just by the look on her face. Our interactions became more natural and intimate. The politeness and distance were gone, replaced by the warmth and affection of family. Ethan, have you gained some weight recently? Chloe asked, pinching my side. Have I? I asked, looking down at my stomach. Yes, you're getting a little belly, she said with a laugh. I guess my cooking is too good. Guess I need to go on a diet. Don't. I like you with a little more weight on you. It makes me feel safe. Are you sure? I'm sure, she nodded. You were too skinny before. This is perfect. These everyday conversations made me feel more relaxed than I ever had. We started planning for the future. Buying a house, having kids. We even talked about where we'd want to retire. I want 2 kids, a boy and a girl, Chloe said, resting her head on my lap. Why 2? So they'll have each other and won't be lonely. Well then, we'd better get started, I said with a grin. Chloe's face instantly turned red, and she threw a pillow at me. You perv. We also started to build a circle of friends together. Before, my friends thought Chloe was too shy, and her friends thought I was too aloof. Now we went to parties together and had people over, feeling like a real couple. Hey Miller, how come your wife is suddenly so beautiful? A friend joked. It's because she's happy, I said, putting my arm around Chloe. A happy woman is a beautiful woman. Listen to you two. Get a room. It's not showing off, it's just the truth. Chloe laughed uncontrollably in my arms. It was true though. Chloe had become even more beautiful lately. Maybe because she was so happy, she seemed to radiate a joyful light. She started dressing up more, buying nice clothes, and wearing a little makeup. I want to look prettier, to be a better match for you, she said. You're already beautiful, I said seriously. In my eyes, you're the most beautiful woman in the world. Really, really. One night, as we were watching TV, Chloe suddenly asked me a question. Ethan, if you could go back in time, would you still choose to marry me? I paused for a second, then answered firmly, yes. Really, really, I said, looking into her eyes. If I could do it all over again, I would have realized how wonderful you are much sooner, and I would have fallen in love with you sooner. And you wouldn't miss Jessica? Hearing her name, I felt nothing at all. No, I said. She was just a part of my past. You are my entire future. Chloe's eyes shone with tears. I love you, Ethan. I love you too, Chloe. We held each other, feeling the warmth of our embrace. In that moment, I remembered a saying, the best love isn't a passionate fire, but a slow, steady stream. My relationship with Jessica had been a passionate fire, full of romance and excitement. But that kind of love couldn't stand up to the tests of real life. It shattered at the first sign of trouble. But my love with Chloe was a steady stream, quiet but filled with a deep warmth. This kind of love was more stable, more enduring. It wouldn't be shaken by outside temptations or fade with time. It would only grow deeper as the years went by. 6 months later, Chloe was pregnant. When we found out, Chloe cried with happiness. "We're going to be parents," she exclaimed, spinning me around in a hug. I was thrilled. Our little family was about to get a new member. "I want to pick a good name for the baby," Chloe said, rubbing her still flat stomach. "Have you thought of any? If it's a girl, let's name her Summer, so she'll be warm like the sun. If it's a boy, let's name him Ian, so he'll have a peaceful life." "Those are both great names," I said, kissing her forehead. "Our baby is going to be so happy, because they'll have the best mom and dad." During her pregnancy, Chloe became even more endearing. She would get the strangest cravings, like suddenly needing pickles in the middle of the night or wanting ice cream for breakfast. I would always go out and get it for her without a second thought. "Ethan, do you think I'm being a pain?" she asked, holding her carton of ice cream. "Not at all. It's a pregnant lady's prerogative," I said. "Besides, you look cute when you eat." She would also cry over the smallest things. She'd cry at a sad movie, cry if she saw a stray dog, and even cry if I came home late from work. "Am I going crazy?" she'd ask through her tears. "You're not crazy, it's just the hormones," I'd say, holding her. "And I think you're more real now." "Real?" "Yes. You don't have to hold back your feelings anymore. If you want to cry, you cry. If you want to laugh, you laugh. It's good." When Chloe was 4 months pregnant, we went for the ultrasound. The doctor told us it was a healthy baby boy. "It's Ian," Chloe said excitedly. "Yes, our little Ian." Looking at that tiny shape on the screen, I felt the joy of becoming a father for the very first time. This little life was the product of our love, the future of our family. "Ian, your mom and I can't wait to meet you," I said to Chloe's belly. "He moved," Chloe said, surprised. "Look, he's kicking me." I placed my hand on her belly and felt Ian's little kicks. It was a magical feeling, like he was saying hello. "Ian, you be a good boy in there. Don't kick your mommy, you'll hurt her." And miraculously, he actually settled down. "See? He listened," Chloe said with a smile. "He's going to be such a good boy." In the later stages of her pregnancy, it became hard for Chloe to get around, so I took over all the housework. Shopping, cooking, laundry, cleaning. It was exhausting, but I was happy to do it. "Ethan, you're working so hard," Chloe said from the couch. "Not at all. You're the one doing the hard work," I said, sitting beside her. "You have to put up with all the pain and discomfort of being pregnant. But I'm so happy," she said, rubbing her belly. "Feeling this little life growing inside me is the most magical feeling." "I'm happy too," I said, taking her hand. "With you and with Ian, I have everything in the world I could ever want." A month before her due date, we started getting ready for Ian's arrival. The crib, tiny clothes, bottles, diapers. We got everything ready. "Who do you think Ian will look like?" Chloe asked. "I hope he looks like you. Then he'll be cute," I said. "I hope he looks like you. Then he'll be handsome. Then let's hope he gets a little of both, so he's handsome and cute." We often talked like this, imagining Ian's future. What kind of kid would he be? Energetic or calm? Smart or mischievous? No matter what, we would love him with all our hearts. The night she went into labor, Chloe suddenly started having contractions. "Ethan, I think it's time," she said, gripping my hand tightly. I grabbed the hospital bag and rushed her to the car. "Don't worry, just breathe. We have plenty of time." I said that, but my own heart was pounding. At the hospital, the doctor examined her and said it would be a while. "She's only dilated to 2 centimeters. It's going to be a few more hours." Chloe was sweating and in terrible pain, and I just stood beside her, holding her hand as tightly as I could. "Ethan, I'm a little scared," she said weakly. "Don't be scared. I'm right here with you," I said, kissing her forehead. "You'll get to meet Ian soon." After more than 10 hours of labor, Ian was finally born. When the doctor placed the tiny, wrinkled baby in my arms, I couldn't stop the tears from streaming down my face. This was my son, mine and Chloe's. "He's so small," I said, holding him carefully. "But he's healthy," the doctor said with a smile. 6 pounds, 8 ounces. A perfect weight. Chloe was exhausted, but the moment she saw Ian, her eyes filled with happy tears. "Ian, mommy's finally here." As if he understood, Ian opened his eyes, looked at Chloe, and then looked at me. In that moment, I felt like my life was complete. A wife and a son. What more could a man ask for? After Ian was born, our lives changed completely. We were up in the middle of the night making formula, changing diapers, and rocking him to sleep. During the day, there was baby laundry to wash, bottles to sterilize, and food to prepare. It was exhausting, but we loved every minute of it. "Ethan, look," Ian's smiling. Chloe would call out excitedly. I'd run over, and Ian would be grinning at us. He recognizes us. Of course he does. We're his parents. At 3 months, Ian could roll over. At 6 months, he could sit up. At 9 months, he started to crawl. Every milestone was a cause for celebration. Ian is so smart, crawling already, Chloe would say proudly. Well, he gets it from his smart mother. For Ian's first birthday, we threw a small party for him. It was just a small family gathering, but it was filled with love. Happy birthday, Ian, we all sang. Ian sat in his high chair, looking curiously at the birthday cake in front of him. Then he reached out a tiny hand and smashed it right into the cake. Haha, the little guy's got a handful of cake. It's okay, let him have his fun. Watching Ian's innocent, happy smile, Chloe and I agreed it was the most beautiful sight in the world. 2 years later, just as we had planned, we bought a house. It wasn't big, but it was ours. Ian, this is our new home, Chloe said, holding a now toddling Ian. Home, Ian repeated in his little voice. That's right, home, I said, ruffling his hair. The night we moved in, the three of us sat together in the new living room. Ian was playing with his toys on the floor, and Chloe was leaning against my shoulder. Ethan, are you happy? She asked. Very, I said. Happier than I ever imagined I could be. Me too, she said with a smile. It feels like a dream. If it's a dream, then I hope we never wake up. Okay, 3 years later, Chloe was pregnant again. This time, it was a girl. We named her Summer. With Summer's arrival, our house became even livelier. Ian was 5 now, and he was a responsible big brother. My sister's crying. I'll go check on her, he'd say seriously. You're such a good big brother, Chloe would praise him. Ian would sing to his little sister, share his toys with her, and read quietly while she napped. He really loves his sister, I said to Chloe. Just like how you love us. It was true. I loved my family, and I loved our warm, happy home. When Summer was 3, I suddenly got an iMessage. It was from a familiar number and a familiar name, Jessica. I heard you're doing well and are very happy. I'm happy for you. I'm moving out of the country, and I wanted to say goodbye before I left. I read the message and felt nothing. The name that had once caused me so much pain meant nothing to me now. I deleted the message without replying. Some people, and some things, truly belong in the past. All I wanted now was to protect the happiness I had right in front of me. That evening, Chloe noticed I seemed distracted. What's wrong? Is something on your mind? I hesitated for a moment, then told her about the message. Do you want to see her? Chloe asked. No, I said firmly. I'm not the same Ethan I was back then. Good, Chloe smiled. I trust you. Why do you trust me so much? Because I can see how much you truly love this family. It was true. I love this family. I loved my wife. I loved my children. And I loved every warm moment we had created together. It was a deep and lasting love that wouldn't be shaken by anything. 10 years later, Ian was a 15-year-old teenager, and Summer was 12. Chloe and I were entering middle age, but our love was as strong as ever. Mom, Dad, how are you guys still so mushy? Ian joked. Because it's true love, I said, putting my arm around Chloe. So gross, Summer said, making a face. You'll understand when you're older, Chloe said with a smile. That night, after the kids were asleep, Chloe and I sat out on the porch, talking. Ethan, do you remember when we first met? I remember. In the hospital. You were wearing your white nurse's uniform, quietly changing my bandages. Even back then, I just knew you were going to be okay. How did you know? Because of your eyes. Even though you were in pain, they were so clear. I knew anyone with eyes that clear had to have a kind heart. Thank you for not giving up on me. How could I ever give up on you? Chloe said, taking my hand. Meeting you was the luckiest day of my life. Me too, I said, kissing the back of her hand. Marrying you was the best decision I ever made. Looking at this woman before me, no longer young but still so beautiful, my heart was filled with gratitude. I was grateful that fate brought us together, grateful for her persistence that kept us together, and grateful for the beautiful family we had built together. Life can be like a dream, but with true love, that dream becomes your reality. And with family, that reality becomes the most beautiful dream of all.